Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith here at the National Weather Service in Pocatello, Idaho, with your Eastern Idaho planning briefing kicking off the new week. This is Monday, August 17th, 2020. Get some beautiful sunsets here in southeast Idaho. This image is from here at our office next to the Pocatello Airport yesterday evening. A little bit of smoke out there, providing a little bit of haze in the sky and giving us this beautiful view. We actually have a little bit of smoke coming in from Northern California wildfires, in addition to several fires that are burning here in our general forecast area. And you may see some of that continue here over the next several days. You may note a little bit of that smoky haze to the sky, but by far, big two weather concerns over the next 5 days, looking at our impact summary, is going to be the heat and a chance of some thunderstorms. Our heat wave continues. We've actually extended our heat advisory now. Instead of ending it on Tuesday, it now includes Wednesday afternoon and evening as well. Hottest temperatures today, readings 95 to 102 degrees. Record heat likely today across the advisory area. Tuesday, Wednesday, we take a degree or two off, but still 93 to 100 for highs with that advisory remaining in effect. And I put here, too, from Thursday onward, we still want to note high temperatures across most lower elevation areas of southeast Idaho, still reaching or exceeding 90 degrees. So we mention this because, these values are closer to what we see this time of summer across the region. It's not terribly unusual, but heat-related stress on the human body is a very cumulative element. The more hot days in a row you have, the more that stress really builds up on the human body, particularly for sensitive groups. So the take-home point here that I want everyone to keep in mind is no significant relief as far as the heat goes is really on the horizon for the next 1 to even 2 weeks of our forecast. Again, confidence is high on the heat wave continuing across the region. Now, increasing monsoon moisture, a little bit more each day as we go through the week, may bring some thunderstorm potential. Our mountain ranges are generally favored for that, and I'll step you through that here in a moment. Lightning and strong gusty winds will be the biggest hazards, and that's big for our fire partners. Lightning-related fire starts definitely going to be a concern with this activity. And we're going to have to watch the coverage of the storms as well, particularly midweek, the Tuesday to Thursday time frame, as a potential trigger for a possible red flag day if we think that thunderstorm coverage will reach the scattered category. Current satellite view out there, it's the high pressure center that keeps on giving, located down here in the lower right, set up over the Utah area right now. And this is the main player for our heat wave that is going to be in place for several days, possibly a week or longer. And clockwise flow across the region, rotating around this high, just pumping that warm air northward across the Pacific coast. And you can see all this moisture starting to get caught up in that flow as well. That's that monsoon moisture that's going to increase each day as we go forward. Also a low pressure system up here in the northern Pacific, but the active storm track to the north of this high pressure ridge is going to remain generally to the north of Idaho. This high pressure center is going to be our main player for the next few days. Lots of watches, warnings, advisories out there still for the heat across the region. A heat advisory in all of the areas shaded in orange, including much of southeast Idaho. And then for places like Boise and down towards Salt Lake City, Utah, an excessive heat warning is in effect. That's an even higher level of alert as temperatures will be even warmer in those areas, possibly in the 100 to 110 degree range, particularly today. And again, a lot of these alerts, these advisories and warnings have been extended now through Wednesday for many areas. Here's our weather impact overview broken down by region. Again, I color-coded this based on the heat. So for areas under the heat advisory now through Wednesday, we have that orange shading here, yellow shading elsewhere as that heat is generally expected to continue. And you can see we've worked in those varying degrees of isolated to scattered thunderstorms here into the forecast as well. Again, mostly for our mountain ranges. And we'll talk about that here in just a moment as well. And you can see that drops off by Friday. Looks like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are 3 most favorable days. So jumping in and taking it day by day here, I set these up again with our high temperature forecast on the left. And for our fire partners, a look at our afternoon minimum humidity values for fire weather concerns. So starting out today, again, record high temperatures possible at all of our climate monitoring sites. You can see highs getting up toward 100 degrees across large portions of the Snake Plain, the Eastern Magic Valley, the Raft River region. A lot of our valleys here across the Southern Highlands approaching 100 degrees. Even up north, 99 in Salmon, 98 for Chalice, very warm, 91 for Stanley, which could be a record high, and exceeding 90 even up into Island Park and over to Driggs as well. Today will be the driest day as far as humidities go, and you can see a lot of areas are still getting down to what we call critical thresholds, below 15%. Lowest, of course, out over the Arco Desert region, some 10% readings possible out there. If we do see a thunderstorm today, best chance is an isolated storm up across the Central Mountain region this afternoon, and then this evening extending up along the Montana border. Snake Plain south and east expected to be dry. We may actually see an isolated storm overnight tonight as well, but again, north of the Snake Plain in those same general areas. Stepping ahead to Tuesday, we lose a degree or two, but heat advisory continues, still getting into the mid to upper 90s to near 100 in many locations. You can see approaching 90, 95 up for Salmon, Chalice, Stanley, just about 90 over at Driggs as well. And we start to work a little more moisture in. You can see a slight increase to our humidity values during the afternoon. Still pretty dry. The hot and dry flavor of the forecast isn't going anywhere over the next week, but better chance of a few thunderstorms as well. And again, I think the best coverage will be here in the Central Mountains into the Upper Snake Highlands and Montana border, possibly over to Driggs and Swan Valley as well. And we'll have to watch to see if we get these thunderstorms approaching scattered coverage for red flag concerns. Take a look here at the severe weather outlook for Tuesday as well from the Storm Prediction Center. Darker green shading up to the north. Remember, the environment's going to be favorable for some gusty winds with some of these thunderstorms, so can't rule out an isolated severe storm for those gusty to damaging winds, particularly the Central Mountains over toward Du Bois and West Yellowstone. Another interesting thing to note here is the rest of the region, including the Snake Plain, is highlighted in general thunder. So while we say mountains are really going to be favored for thunderstorm potential this week, we can't completely rule out a storm sneaking out into the Snake Plain, either a storm or thunderstorm outflow winds trying to make a run out into the plain and lower elevation areas. So something we'll have to watch day by day as the week goes on. I throw up too low temperatures as we go into Wednesday morning. So this is one of several reasons why we extended that heat advisory into Wednesday. One big factor for judging how heat-related stress is impacting the human body is how much recovery, how much relief can we see during the overnight periods as far as those temperatures go. And they're not really that great here for some areas. Looking at our low temperatures, Oakley, 70, meaning 70 or warmer throughout the overnight hours. Even for Pocatello, a low is 66, meaning that temperatures generally warmer than 66 expected for much of the overnight. So particularly if we get a lot of cloud cover and it kind of acts as an insulating blanket Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we really not seeing recovery to these low temperatures as much as we like to see. So that's another reason why we extended that heat advisory into Wednesday. Plus these high temperatures, again, getting into the mid 90s, upper 90s to near 100 for a few spots Wednesday afternoon. Again, moisture continues to increase a little bit. You can see our RH values are generally 15% or better now, 20% or better across a lot of our mountain ranges by Wednesday afternoon. Increased chance of isolated to scattered thunderstorms across all of our mountain ranges now, possibly even across the southern and eastern highlands by Wednesday afternoon. And again, we'll have to watch to see if anything tries to sneak out into the Snake Plain. Again, chance of a few damaging wind gusts possible with thunderstorms, particularly up north from the Chalice area across the upper Snake Highlands down to Rexburg for that activity Wednesday. But we'll be watching everything across the region with an environment generally favorable for some stronger wind gusts. Thursday. Okay, remember, we're not completely losing the heat. We're still getting into the upper 80s to low to mid 90s across the region. That's going to be status quo right beyond this 5-day forecast that we cover in this briefing, but 3 to 5 degrees cooler than what we saw Wednesday. So we're letting the heat advisory go on Wednesday. We'll continue to generally be warm and dry. Again, a chance of some mountain isolated scattered thunderstorms on Thursday afternoon and evening. Continued to be a little bit better on the RH values with some monsoon moisture in place. Finally, Friday, looks like we back off on the thunderstorm chances, and actually we start to see a drying trend again in those afternoon relative humidity values. Continue to push out the heat safety messaging on our social media pages, particularly today with those hot temperatures. Today, here's a reminder about heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Some of that information here on the graphic. Take a look at this story from James, Arizona, 2015. I came down with heat exhaustion in just 15 minutes in 105 degrees on an airport ramp. It took me a long, painful day to recover, and I was lucky. Remember, these symptoms can set in very fast, and our temperatures are going to be pretty close to this across southeast Idaho today. So take some precautions. Look out for yourself. Look out for each other if you're doing outdoor work or recreation. It can slow you down a little bit taking those extra precautions, but experts generally agree being alive and healthy is preferred. Again, a summary of everything we just talked about: heat and thunderstorms and continued fire weather concerns, the main story for the week. And that's it for your hazard briefing this morning. If you have questions, comments, concerns for us, as always, you can reach us here at the office utilizing this information on your screen. Have a great Monday.